I just had a meeting, I'm sitting down to edit, and I'm looking at this footage and realized I did not explain why I did this very random, very spontaneous plant vlog tour situation. Essentially, I accidentally sold a plant. I did not mean to. I meant to sell the plant stand and plant pot combo, and I accidentally sold the plant along with it. It's fine, only a little bit bummed, but I decided that I want to kind of document where I'm at with my plants this winter, because it's definitely a unique plant environment being in Seattle in a basement unit. You know, there's not too much light, it is a little colder, and so this is how I've been managing. Some LECA tips in there. I do love LECA. I also do have a few plants in soil now because I've purchased and got some new plants recently, or like 2 months ago, but I haven't had the chance to even consider if I'm going to transition them or not. So without further ado, here is a quick walkthrough of most of my plants. Like, I skipped over some, but it's just kind of the gist of my plant collection. Since Kyle and I have opposite work schedules today, I thought I'd do a bit of a LECA plant update and show you what I've got going on, because I have traded and minimized my plant collection so much. It's been so weird, especially since a few months back we actually filmed a houseplant tour, and it was not good. We're not great at doing like sit down sort of videos. It's just not there for us. And even we filmed a Blue Land sit down video to kind of review products one by one, and it's just been so hard for us. So we are working on that. We're just gonna do a quick LECA plant walkthrough, starting with a non-LECA plant. So starting over here is a non-LECA plant. This is my heartleaf philodendron in dirt. Doing really well, even though this isn't its normal spot. Normally it's in the big room, but with our Christmas stuff I moved it in here. It's in a white plastic pot on top of this wood bowl that I thrifted, and I love how that looks together. This is my big avocado in LECA. And what I do with LECA a lot of the time is I'll actually have a Ziploc bag, just to make sure that there's never going to be any mess with that. And you can see I've got some roots popping through, even though I just repotted this not too long ago. These leaves are not in focus. There we go. Avocado leaves are so beautiful. They're just stunning, especially like little baby leaves. I have him in front of the mirror because he does need a fair amount of light, and so having the mirror just helps bounce back a little bit of light. But he's doing pretty well, and he normally has about 4 leaves at a time, which is what it is. This is another LECA avocado. This one, when it first got leaves, I cut it and then it started growing a little lumpy, but now this one will have more leaves at a time. Like, it'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like 7 leaves at a time. So these two are new and maturing, but there's little leaves coming in. Again, pretty happy in LECA. See if we've got, yep, we've got roots popping out. This is my philodendron Birkin. This leaf is yellowing, but it looks like I have a new leaf coming in right there. So this one has been a bit of a harder transition, honestly, just because it hasn't really changed. A lot of my transitions, either they go downhill really fast or they go great really fast. And this one has just kind of been chilling, and I've had it in the bathroom with lots of light and humidity, and now I have it here, which has a little less light and humidity. This is my only cactus. I've had this guy for a couple years now, and I've grown so many off of him that I have sold, gifted, swapped a lot. But he was in the kitchen not getting enough light, and so now he's got these crazy long, they're not even cactus pads, they're just like cactus sticks. And so this one is growing a second one, even though it's just teeny tiny. So I moved him in here to hopefully get more light and a little better growth. And so this is a variegated spineless cactus pear cactus. Variegated spineless pear cactus. You get what I'm saying. Over here on the nightstand, I have some sort of neon pothos situation. It actually needs water. I just steal Kyle's night water. Oh no, I made a mess.
Oh, no, I made a mess.
Dang it. Okay, I'll clean that up. This was 3 cuttings that I received from someone in a swap, and they were in water, And so they were an easy transition in LECA. They grew these 3 little leaves. This isn't like the best lighting situation for them, but it's fine. They're just not gonna grow a ton, but it's okay. This is my burgundy rubber tree in LECA that was doing so well, and then it just lost like 3 leaves suddenly. And they were new leaves too, so I don't know what is stressing it out, but something is stressing it out. And it gets a fair amount of light here. When I first got this plant, I bought it off Facebook Marketplace, and it was literally this size in like the biggest pot I've ever had. And so I took it out and I've downsized it a couple times, and now it's in this size, and I pruned it, so then it started kind of growing outwards, and this just recently lost like 3 leaves, which is kind of sad. Here is a spider plant. It's in like sand and soil. I swapped for this, and I love how it's a curly spider plant. It's super fun, really good at air purifying. This is a Hoya I have in dirt, and this Hoya was cuttings from my grandmother's Hoya. That's super fun to have like a little piece of her, and I've had it for years, and it's finally started growing little leaves, which is really exciting. All right, so the bathroom gets the best lighting, but that means we have to have our bathroom window open. Lots of humidity and the best lighting that we have. So I try to keep a lot of plants in here when I can. So sometimes I've literally had trees hanging from our shower curtain, which is really funny, but this is what we got going on right now. This Raven ZZ was one of the first plants that I transitioned into LECA, and it did amazing. Like, it sprouted this whole new thing, and just in the past couple weeks it started declining, and I don't know what's wrong. I don't know if I gave it too much water, not enough water. I checked the roots the other day, and so right now I'm just gonna give it encouraging words. This is an example of me having too many plants, and I started combining them. So this has some heartleaf philodendron and some regular like golden pothos. It's just a little silly, but this is a hanging basket that has holes. So what I do to have hanging LECA plants, I just take a regular hanging apparatus and I put in a Ziploc bag with water, and then I put my plant in LECA, and so then it's able to hang. Add a little water and boom. So this other hanging plant is a Hoya that I am transitioning. It's a Hoya Crimson Princess, I think. Crimson Queen, I don't even know. I'm not a Hoya person, but this was a cheap buy, and so I thought it would be fun to try it out. So far so good. Did a very detailed job of cleaning the root system before I put it in LECA, and I think this is a good location for it. So far so good. Here I have some Rhaphidophora tetrasperma cuttings in LECA. I have had the hardest time with Rhaphidophora tetraspermas. Everyone's like, oh, they grow so fast. I've had a really hard time with them growing fast, but this one, it looks like there's a little thing popping out there, if I can get it to kind of focus. And then clearly there's this little leaf coming out. It's so tiny, so cute. But this is probably the best lit spot in the house, and so that's why I have it here, because I really want this guy to grow. And this was a really awesome cutting that I swapped for in the local plant swap. Here I have some propagations, ZZ. I don't know what this is. It was gifted, since I gifted some propagation jars and whatnot. Someone gifted me this, so essentially we swapped. I've got ZZ leaves back there in LECA, and I've had great success with rooting ZZ leaves in LECA. I think I have a video clip of that in a different video. Some snake plant cuttings. What's crazy about over here is I have an aloe plant in LECA, and it's doing all right. I get nervous about this, and I do kind of more of a shower method. I don't have it sitting in water. I had an aloe in LECA, and I had it sitting in a little bit of water, and it didn't make it. So now I just, every so often, I just kind of water it, kind of like a normal plant in a way. I just kind of douse it in water, let it all drain off, and then I put it back. So far so good. Okay, so I'm checking the office to see if I have any plants in here, because I honestly don't come in here that much. It's mostly like for drying our clothes and storing our bikes. Okay, I just have some golden pothos water propagation, so nothing exciting, though I do love my pothos. Okay, in the kitchen, here we go. I have been struggling with monsteras for the past 6 months, and so this is a bit of a newer plant. It's got a leaf coming in here. Focus on that part. There we go. Leaf coming in. I swapped for it, and it came with a moss pole, which is super awesome. And I've got some yellowing on like all the leaves, which makes me nervous. I don't know if I fertilized too much, but I'm hoping that I can keep it alive. This is also in dirt, And this is just a pothos that was really cheap at Lowe's, and it had these beautiful, huge leaves. So I had to get it, and then all the big leaves fell off as it grew new ones, which is fine. Windowsill, these are all LECA, except for this, which is sphagnum moss, and that is in the hospital, and it's pretty much dead and very, very sad. Got some pothos, peperomia, more of that plant that I was given. At first, I didn't like it, but then like, it just has the most velvety leaves. It's so nice, and I really enjoy it. I have some micans cuttings that I got. I'm really nervous about because I didn't feel like they were particularly healthy when I got them, and I bought them too. So I'm hoping I can get these guys to root. If not, I'm gonna be brave and maybe cut them a little more and see what I can do. And then last one, I have more Rhaphidophora tetrasperma cuttings, and I am just noticing for the first time today there's a little leaf coming in, so that's super exciting. There's 2 different cuttings in here, and that makes me so, so happy. And this has been in LECA for a while. It actually needs more water. Over here I have a snake plant in LECA. Snake plant, it's done great. I do have it sitting in water, and I haven't noticed any like adverse effects. Here I have another aloe in LECA. I don't even have it all the way in LECA. I don't know, it's fine. I just give it water not very often, and it's fine. It's got a little new growth coming in, so we go with it. And then I also had this basil that is not doing too well just because I have never really plucked anything, and so it is what it is. I do have a succulent up there in LECA. That one is very much experimental, and it's not going too well. So I started trying to just do kind of more of the shower method, the same thing I'm doing with the aloes, where I just give it water every so often. But like I said, it doesn't seem to be doing super well, but it's not doing like super poorly. Here on the fridge, got 2 spider plant babies in LECA. They came from water propagations into LECA, and they've done fine. This is actually really exciting. So this is a couple leaves I took from my grandma's Hoya's cutting that I have. I popped it in LECA, and look at that. That's crazy. Like, it so fast rooted and is doing great in here, and I'm shocked. So LECA and Hoya's, so far so good. And this is another one that rooted really fast in LECA. You can hardly see, it's got a really fine root. And this is just my neighbor. I was taking care of their plant, and a cutting fell out, and put it in LECA, and it went from like 2 leaves to like 50, 100. A couple poinsettias in here, that's not super interesting. I have a larger snake plant in LECA. I recently kind of cut it down because it was just getting crazy. And now a part of me regrets it, but a part of me doesn't. But these were water rooted, and I put them in LECA, and I don't necessarily have them sitting in water. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't, but honestly, they're doing fine. Like, there's new growth all around. I know there's some new growth in the back as well, so we go with it. This is another cheap at Lowe's, so this is still in soil. And then this is some more pothos in LECA, and this particular plant, I don't know why, but it took so quickly to LECA. Just so fun, and I love that leaf. And so this plant doesn't get a lot of light, which is kind of why there's not much variegation on it, but it makes me happy here, so we're good with it. Off the top of my head, that's kind of like the quick rundown of plants. I used to have more in LECA, but then I started selling some of my LECA plants, and then I bought a couple dirt plants. So now I'm kind of maybe 60-40 sort of ratio, and it's a much smaller collection, but it's been very manageable, especially because it's winter. I don't want a lot of plants to have to fight to keep alive, so that is where we're at with the plants right now.